How are we all doing tonight? Just waiting for the system to let me know that we're live, and we are going to dive into a new study that I think is quite interesting, and that's this study right here. So I'm going to maximize this. We're going to talk about a new study finding that creatine supplementation in women can actually improve sleep duration. Now, I think this is interesting, and it just speaks to the fact that creatine is not just this anabolic agent. There's a lot of misconceptions about creatine. Creatine is involved in it helps with the creation of cellular energy in energy demanding tissues, including the heart, the brain, and skeletal muscle. There's a lot of myths about creatine, that it causes hair loss, that it will cause gynecomastia. It does none of that. Creatine helps foster cellular energy production during intense energetic demands, such as exercise, such as thinking, such as REM sleep, where you're creating and forming dreams and consolidating memories. So creatine also has been shown recently to improve in individuals who intentionally undergo sleep deprivation. Creatine helps offset the sleep deprivation and improve cognition. And so we're just going to talk about, this is just a great study to talk about because this was published in one of the MD-PI journals known as Nutrients. The title here is Creatine Improves Total Sleep Duration Following a Resistance Training Day on Resistance Training Days versus Non-Resistance Training Days among naturally menstruating females. So these women are not on hormone or birth control. They were taking 10 grams of creatine per day, and the research shows that they had better sleep as a function of that. So I just want to kind of share with you, and there's a lot of comments here that are popping in on the chat. I just want to say thank you for being here. If you're enjoying the content, hit that like button. I would love to know where you're from and if you're taking creatine and how much creatine you are taking. So we got more and more folks coming on with us. It's like the first official day here in Washington of fall. It seems like, I know it's still summer, but kids are back in school. There's more traffic. Yeah, everyone's back from travels and things like that. It's pretty wild. So Cosmetic Dan has a question. Cosmetic Dan says, I got a big issue regarding creatine. I get bloated by consuming it no matter what it's taking with juice or not. Could be the form. I'm not sure, Cosmetic Dan. I personally have no issues with creatine. A lot of people, as you know, at Myoscience, we have creatine paired with electrolytes. I rarely see comments from people who have purchased a product that report retaining a lot of water. Now, you could be unique. The form that we use is called CreaPure from Germany, a highly purified form of creatine. So check that out. The electrolyte sticks save with the code podcast. But I'd be curious to see what you think, Cosmetic Dan. Okay, Andrew says, there have been several studies showing a benefit to those looking to trim or stay trim. I'm not really sure that it doesn't it depends on the dose, And so in this study, they used 5 grams of creatine monohydrate paired with a dextrose solution. You don't need that. Actually, creatine is better absorbed with electrolytes. A lot of good research to show that. But, if you pair your creatine with with maltodextrin, with dextrose, with sugar, you might retain even more water. So not really sure that that's totally needed. Hello from Kimberly. Thanks for being here, Kimberly. The Rusconian is here. Thank you for that. Individuals intentionally going through sleep deprivation. Yeah, so this was a study that was published several weeks ago, at the end of July, finding that 20 grams of creatine, and this might be in a context of, say, jet lag or something like that, or you work the night shift, that could help improve cognition after jet lag. So that, I think, was interesting. Brown Hulk says, from Austin, Texas, and I take 5 grams of creatine usually on my workout days, which is about 4 days a week. Amazing. That's a good starting dose for sure. African Yasmin says, what about issues with your kidneys and creatine? Do you ever have kidney issues when you eat a burger or steak? Probably not. There's about 2.5 to 5 grams, depending on how much meat you have in a pound of beef. So no one has issues eating red meat and with their kidneys, right? So why would you have issues if you take supplemental creatine around exercise? You're going to probably notice better sports performance. Mary says, I'm in New York and I take your Myoscience Electrolyte 6. Thank you for that, Mary. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to take a screenshot and just so I can maybe see what formulas you take and how you're benefiting from that. I would love to know, Mary, if you've benefited from the electrolyte sticks, and if so, how. Okay, so a lot of people take creatine from bulk supplements. So the creatine that you're going to get is a creatine monohydrate from China. So creatine from bulk supplements can be cheap, right? Bulk supplements just resells all sorts of bulk ingredients. I don't think they sell Creapure. I'm not sure. Maybe they do. But what we found being in the manufacturing space, I've been in this space since 2006. The Creapure is just a better creatine product. Honestly, it is. The stuff from China, honestly, what we noticed when getting our pilot batches after upgrading the creatine and the electrolyte sticks to the Creapure, it just mixes so much better and tastes better. So I know that's anecdotal. This is subjective, yada, yada. But when we switched to that, it was like people really noticed that. So yeah, most of the monohydrate is coming from China. Not everything from China is bad, and things like that. But I just trust this Alchem Bio company in Germany a little bit more. All right. C. Thornton 523 says, I am female, no birth control, 54, in perimenopause, a hyper-responder to creatine, relatively instant, at 5 grams, in the realms of cognitive benefits. Whoa. I'm going to pin this comment. Thank you for that. All of you that are here right now, again, hit that like button if you're enjoying the content, number one. Number two, read the comment that I pinned here from this live chat. I'm going to read it again. I'm a female, no birth control, 54, in perimenopause. I'm a hyperresponder to creatine relatively instantly at 5 grams, in the realms of cognitive benefits as well as improving my energy levels. Okay, we've talked about this before, my friends. Women don't store as much creatine in their body compared to men. So women actually probably stand to benefit more from creatine supplementation than men. Now, who's taking the creatine? It's mostly guys, right? Who are eating steak and red meat. So their creatine stores are probably already sufficient. Can they benefit from 2.5, 5 grams around exercise? Sure, probably. But mostly women and vegans and vegetarians are going to benefit the most. The Risconian says, happy Tuesday. All these are becoming the highlight of my Tuesday evenings. Thank you for being here. All right. Jason84 has a great question. He says, my creatine is high without taking it. Should I abstain from taking supplemental creatine? What I think you meant to say, Jason84, is your serum creatinine is high. Should you take creatine? Serum creatinine and creatine are not the same things. All right. Now, it's true. Serum creatinine is going to be a breakdown product of nitrogen-containing compounds in the body. Okay. If your serum creatinine is high, it probably means you have sufficient muscle mass where you eat a lot of protein. I just got off a call with a client who is in her 60s, doesn't eat much protein, doesn't have much muscle mass, has really low serum creatinine. So, young men and men who are physically active are going to eat a lot of protein are going to have a higher serum creatinine compared to women and people don't have much muscle or eat much protein. So serum creatinine, creatine, they sound similar. They almost look similar to your eye. The words, they're different words. You don't measure serum creatine. You measure it in your blood, creatinine. That's generally a proxy of kidney health. People with chronic kidney disease will have all sorts of wild blood urea nitrogen and serum creatinine levels and things like that. But I like to look at this with my clients and see, hey, what's going on with regards to their muscle and protein. Okay. So great questions coming in the chat so far. All right. So what I want to do here is further dive into your live questions. I mean, this is why we do these lives, my friends, is to answer your questions, is to dive into this, is to talk more about fun stuff. This study just gives us something interesting to dive into. So there's more questions coming in. Mary says, I'm 58, by the way, and definitely see a benefit in my workouts with the electrolytes containing creatine. Mary, thank you for that comment. Thanks for your feedback. I'm going to take a screenshot here too, so I can reach out to you after the fact. I think that's really cool. So as you likely know, most of the creatine products that are out on the market just have either creatine or they have creatine paired with sugar. But the research clearly does show that when you have creatine with electrolytes, there's a synergistic effect. And so I'll just quickly let you all know that's what we did over at Myoscience. We have creatine paired with electrolytes. Electrolytes help increase the absorption and utilization of creatine. Creatine helps with cellular hydration. So you can save with the code podcast if you want. Close to 900 reviews. We get a lot of great feedback from customers on this product by going to myoscience.com and use the code podcast at checkout. So just want to let you guys know that. But let's get into the details of the study. And I really appreciate your live comments, and especially learning from women who have taken creatine. And Julia brings up a great point. Julia Blue says, meat is loaded with creatine. Just eat meat. Julia, you have an excellent point. Of course, just eat meat. Absolutely. But most people, they exercise in the morning or after work. They're not going to have a steak before they go to the gym. So here's the thing about creatine. What people don't understand is that when you take it around exercise, either before or during your exercise session, you get a better workout. So Julia, I agree. Eat meat for sure. Screw chicken and some of these other protein sources that are garbage, tofu, whatever. Eat red meat for sure. It has a lot of creatine, has carnitine, it has anisine. There's all sorts of compounds, polyphenols in red meat that are amazing. But you're not going to eat a ribeye and go to the gym. Most people aren't going to do that. They're going to wait 2, 3, 4 hours. So the cool thing about supplements is you can garner some of the benefits that you would get, from the meat without weighing down your digestive system. So you can get a better workout. If you're out on a 20-mile hike, like I did this weekend, I had some freeze-dried meat. I did. I had some biltong, but I also took creatine supplementation. So that helped pushing out, on a major, we climbed 4,000 feet. So having creatine in real time, it really does help. So Julia, I see your point. I do. And I agree 100%. But I also think there's a time and place for supplements. So Brett has a question. Is this due to DHT and neurosteroid balance? Let me get back to this. Let's get to Elaine's question here. This is a really, really good question here. Is there any extra benefits for having creatine for postmenopausal women? Yeah, I do think so. For the reasons that we just talked about, sleep, energy, mental clarity. There's all these changes in progesterone and estrogen during menopause. So I do think there's a lot of benefits. So I do think there's benefits, especially, the loss in, and there's other things that I might prioritize. Going through menopause, you want to focus on DHEA. DHEA is huge for women going through menopause. The ovaries are no longer making hormones, right? You're relying upon the adrenal glands to take over. And a lot of people have adrenal issues, circadian rhythm issues, yada, yada. And so the, supplementing with DHEA can be helpful. Great question here. All right. Okay. Let's see here. So does creatine break a fast? I'm not worried about it. I think people get too caught in the minutia of fasting and, does a little monk fruit or stevia break my fast? I don't worry about creatine. I honestly, I don't worry about it. So I wouldn't worry about that. Does it spike insulin? No. Does it affect glucose? No. I mean, maybe some people, some flavoring, some stevia, some monk fruit does, but don't worry about creatine affecting your fast. All right. Chris Michael says, hey brother, I train in mixed martial arts in Linwood, Washington. First kickboxing match is this November. I take creatine 5 grams a day before or after. I definitely feel stronger and have more stamina. Exactly. So people are saying this. Great. Hats off to you, Chris. Best of luck with your MMA fight. Keep me posted on your progress. That sounds amazing. 80s nostalgia guy has a great point to Julia's point, right? Julia was like, why supplement with creatine? Just eat meat. For sure. But some people aren't eating enough protein, or if they eat protein, they're eating tilapia or farm-raised salmon or chicken. There's no creatine in these aforementioned foods. Virtually none. There's some. You get creatine mostly from ruminants, red meat, goat, lamb, bison, elk, deer, cattle, right? So good point. 80s Nostalgia Guy says, do you have to preload creatine? I've heard it takes a couple of weeks for it to get in the system. Yeah, you don't need to preload with creatine. Could you? You can, but it's not necessary. It's not a prerequisite. Studies find as low as 2.5 grams. You get an ergogenic aid. Jeffrey Fate says naked nutrition. Is that good? Naked nutrition. I don't know. Let's check it out. Is naked nutrition creatine? Is that good? There's so many creatine products out there. I mean, it's ridiculous. Yeah. All right. Naked nutrition. Let's see. 1 kilogram powder. Let's see. There's some quiz popping up. All right. They have a lot of reviews. Let's look at the label. Let me see. It's weird. They don't have the label on it. It's just straight up creatine monohydrate. Okay, so the difference. Only one ingredient, creatine monohydrate. It's not the Creapure material, guys. I don't know. I mean, look, it's probably just creatine monohydrate from China. Based upon the price, 1 kilogram. Wow, so they have strawberry. They have, so they have a 500 gram and a 1 kilogram. Are these guys in Europe? I've never even heard of Naked Nutrition. Where are they based? Anyway, it doesn't matter. It's probably fine, but it's just creatine monohydrate from China. It's not that big of a deal. If you want to split hairs, the Creapure material is what I recommend. That's what's offered in Bioscience. It's a cleaner product. It tastes better, it mixes better. You don't get as much bloating and stuff like that. It's slightly more expensive, not much. So, Jeffrey, Naked Nutrition, most likely. If it's not a branded creatine. So you have 3 domestic creatine sources. You have Albion Creatine Magnipower. That's created by a company called Albion Labs in Salt Lake City, Utah. You have the Crealkaline material that's derived from it's made by a company in Montana. And then the other non-Chinese stuff, creatine monohydrate, is from Germany. It's called Creapure from Albion Labs, or I can't remember the name of the Alchem Bio, I think is the name. So that's what you got. All right. Jeffrey says, where'd you hike? I hiked in the Glacier Peak Wilderness, did a 20-mile loop with my fam. It was amazing. It was my birthday on Saturday, and we absolutely crushed it. So that was a lot of fun. All right. I bought vegan creatine yesterday. I tried some and had an amazing night of sleep. My first time using creatine, I feel amazing. My mind is also incredibly clear today. Joe, that's amazing. Yeah. So creatine is going to be made. It's a fermented product. It's not derived from meat. Now you can obviously, creatine's found in flesh of animals, mostly ruminant animals, as I mentioned, cattle, red meat, bison, lamb, things like that. But yeah, it's going to be vegan. Okay. Kimberly says, do you only eat red meat? No, we make sourdough bread. I have fermented kimchi. We have blueberries. I mean, no, I don't eat I'm not only carnivore. I think humans are omnivores. We should be eating a range of different foods. Including animal products, of course. I eat raw milk, make my own yogurt. I don't know. I'm creating a cookbook for all y'all. So I think it's, the carnivore thing is a great reset. I don't think it's sustainable for a lot of people. Okay. Rick says, I always get a good night's sleep. I wonder if all of the meat I eat helps. Probably. Good for you, Rick. Are these comments, are addressing the live questions good or helpful? Hit that like button. I see my light has changed here. So I'm going to move and turn the light on. You guys can see me a little bit better. 1 second here. All right. How about them apples? So we're coming back around. Looks like we're doing a little better. This time of the day is always a little bit weird, because the sun is setting and we get a lot of westerly facing sun. All right. I forgot to add that I use your Bioscience Electrolyte 6 that you recommend. They've been great. All right. Chris, amazing. I'm going to take a screenshot, Chris Michael, so that we can touch base. Appreciate that. All right. Yes, an animal-based low-carb diet works for a lot of people. 100%, Rick, I agree, 100%. I've just found with some of my clients is they get bored of eating ribeye and red meat all the time. I don't know. What are your thoughts? Would you want to learn how to make sourdough bread that's fermented for 16 hours, or sourdough pancakes that are low carb, where the gluten and the phytates and all the anti-nutrients from wheat have been digested using ancient wheat that has been used by humans for 6,000 years? Let me know in the comment section, honestly, or the chat, if you would like to learn how to do this, because I've been getting into this, and I think it's a game changer, especially for, our family, because look, I could eat red meat all day long. Like just ribeye steaks, nothing, like it's no big deal. But not everyone's into that, So anyway, let me know. Definitely going to check out my creatine brand. Okay, Ocean says, I have some fluid retention, certain parts of my cheek, under my arm, so I'm going to do lymphatic drainages techniques. Is there changes? Yeah, changing your diet could totally help. Exercise, sauna, rebounding, all of that could be really, really good. Rick says, I made some sourdough bread for friends, as well as homegrown popcorn cooked in lard. That's awesome. Have you looked into barley breed? No, I haven't. I no longer trust the wheat grains here in Denmark. Make me sick. If you're in Copenhagen, go to Copenhagen Health Week. We're speaking there towards the end of this month. Orion 9K. Thanks for that. Brett has a great question on dihydrotestosterone with regards to creatine. It doesn't increase dihydrotestosterone, to the best of my knowledge. There was one study with rugby players who did super physiologic dosaging of creatine and had really gained some weight and had better workouts, and maybe they had an acute or transient increase in their dihydrotestosterone. Not terribly worried about that for most people. So, okay. Mary says, I am still trying to make sourdough bread. I'm almost to the point of buying a starter. Would you do a video on it? Yes, we recently did videos on this, Mary. So it's actually fairly straightforward. But yeah, it's getting it started is tough. I just had to buy a starter from this lady at a farmer's market. So Rick ferments cabbage and banana flowers for sour. That's awesome. All right. Jack says, if I eat 1 pound of red meat a day, do I still need to supplement with fish well? Jack, I'm not sure. I don't know your age. I don't know if you've had CTE issues, head trauma, cardiovascular disease related things. The omega-3 fats, I think, are particularly helpful. The omega-3 polyunsaturated fats, DHA, EPA, are helpful, particularly if you have high triglycerides. So that's what I would suggest. And it also depends on the sourcing of your meat. If the meat that you're buying are eating soybeans and seeds, corn, canola, all that. Yeah, that might be problematic. You might not get as much omega-3s or CLA from that. So pasture-raised red meat is what you want. All right, AMC says, question, sorry, just popped on. What creatine brand do you suggest? I'm a 41 female rebounding from a concussion and optical nerve damage. Ooh, that sucks. I'm sorry to hear about that, AMC. Well, we've been talking about a lot of different types of creatine. I'm biased, of course. You guys know I'm my bias, but I honestly think this is one of the best creatines on the market. And if you get the unflavored, it's really affordable. So this is the unflavored creatine enhanced electrolyte sticks, AMC. That's what I suggest. Now, there's all sorts of creatines out there. Why do I suggest this one? Well, because it features the Creapure creatine from Germany, very clean. And again, since we're talking about creatine, electrolytes are needed to get creatine into your cells. There's something called the creatine transport protein. It's dependent upon sodium, potassium, as well as magnesium and other minerals. So if you're just dry scooping creatine with water, you're not getting the maximal absorption of that and utilization. This is something that you will feel 30-day money back guarantee. People notice this around exercise. So my 2 cents. All right. Red light therapy has really helped with my muscle soreness and recovery. Awesome. I love red light therapy. Thank you, 80s nostalgia guy. Orion K is getting sensitive after getting COVID. Interesting. All right. Rick says, raw tomatoes make me sick as well, but fermented seems to tolerate that. Yeah, I agree. And I'm basically a carnivore, but I like to cook for friends and family as well. I'm with that. So Anyway, friends, hopefully we got to some of your live questions. I'm super grateful that you all tuned in. If you're enjoying the content, hit that like button. Hopefully we addressed many of your questions. It's fun to connect on Tuesday nights and have an awesome rest of your day. Grateful that you tuned in. Have a really good podcast posting for you tomorrow. So we'll catch you on a future episode. Have an awesome day. I'll talk with you all next week. Bye now.